The UFC is going to the White House. Wow. The UFC is going to the White House. Now, I really don't know how to take that, right? I really don't get how to take that because, okay, you go to the White House, but what example is that really setting? What is, of course, the president t- basically lives in the White House, right? I mean, everything has gone through the White House. When you think of America, you think of the White House. You think president of America, you think of the White House. So we're going to bring Bloodsport over to the White House and have it televised for millions of people around the world. It could be any sporting event. This could be any sporting event. Any sporting event. But we're going to choose Bloodsport, elbows, knees, punches, and all of that to represent this country and to have it on the lawn of the White House. We'll choose the sport of mixed martial arts and specifically UFC. I love it. I love it. I love the idea. I love the idea of this. I really do. I mean, you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, it is what it is. This is 2026, right? We're in 2026. UFC is a fast-paced, growing, what would you say, league? Because the sport is mixed martial arts. You know, let's not be one of those people that mix mixed martial arts with UFC. If somebody tells you, yo, I train UFC, get up on out of here. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to continue this conversation unless you quickly submit to the fact that is called mixed martial arts, right? But I think it's great. I think it's great. There's mad speculation going around. I'm gonna keep following. I'm gonna keep digging in to see what information I could get. Or you know what? When the information is brought public, I'll go ahead and comment on it. We have John Jones in the air. He might fight Alex Pereira for the for the heavyweight championship or the interim heavyweight championship, being that Tom Aspinall's eyes are, I wouldn't say no good, but they're not looking too good, right? He's having surgeries on his eyes and everything, so it's just it's a whole ordeal going on there with Tom Aspinall. I gotta be honest with you, it's not looking good for Tom Aspinall. You know, talking about he might not be able to fight anymore. It's unfortunate, but it might could happen. Now, here's what's more possible than anything, because John Jones has proven to the company that he can't show up for fights under certain circumstances. You know what I mean? He'll come into fight week, he'll get through fight camp and everything, and then something might pop off, like he did against DC. I think it was John Jones versus DC2. I'm not sure. But I think it was that fight where he pulled out. He didn't pull out. He was found. He tested positive. He tested positive for a banned substance, and he had to be pulled out of the fight. And that completely destroyed Daniel Cormier. And this is what the UFC is trying to avoid. We're bringing mixed martial arts. We're bringing UFC to the White House. We cannot afford any mistakes. Things happen. So we don't want to have the fact that things happen in play, right? There's fighters who could get sick. There's fighters who may not make weight. There's fighters who may get injured, all leading up to this. Fighters may not, I don't know who's going to be on the card. They might have visa issues, travel issues, many issues fighters go through. And we just don't want to add John Jones to this mix where he might not make it to the fight, especially against Alex Pereira. That is a fight that we would love to see. But it's a fight that I believe cannot make it to the White House. But like I said, here's what's more realistic. If the heavyweight title is to be vacated by Tom Aspinall, I think we're looking at Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight championship. I think that's what we're looking at. Right? Then we got all these other names getting thrown out there. We got Conor McGregor in talks for the White House. We have now Gaethje may be there in the White House. You know what I mean? That'd be cool. That'd be cool. You know, Ilya might be there. You know, there's different names getting thrown up. I'm interested in seeing what's going on. This wasn't too much speculation on the card itself. It was just it was just me shooting my thoughts on the exact just the White House going, just the UFC going to the White House, period. You know, because although I haven't seen online much of people pushing back on the idea of this event, in my inner circle, and you know, when I talk to people on the regular, you know, that's something that is brought up. And I'm surprised I haven't seen that online. But yeah, I think this is great. I think it's going to be a massive event. And I think the UFC has dealt with enough to try their best to make sure nobody pulls out, nobody gets sick, and we actually have a good event. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to the build up. I'm excited. I love the rumors. You know, I'm somebody who enjoys the process of things. You know, I'm one of those people who goes to a movie theater, and sometimes I like the trailers. Sometimes I like the trailers, man. What could I tell you? Sometimes I like the trailers. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. So, yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a good event. I'm enjoying the build up. I'm enjoying the rumors. I'm enjoying the speculation, and I'll be back as more news breaks out and there's more developments on this card. All right, I'll holla at y'all. Peace.